Hello, everyone. Welcome back to Dugout Daily. I'm Charlie and I'm joined by Bernard again. How are you, mate?
I'm fine, mate. Nice to see you and nice to chat with you again.
Yeah, new year, another match reaction. So we'll get straight to it then. Just a couple of things that I actually forgot to mention on the Brentford one the other day. Just the weather conditions were pretty mild. 10 wins in a row. It's now 11 after yesterday. Bernardo made his 150th Premier League appearance. And Ferran Torres released a farewell message. We're not going to go through all that.
No, where's his actual signature? Where's his proper signature? Never mind Ferran Torres just printed out. I mean, that's what I want to see. So some agent could have put that together. He doesn't, I'm being mean, aren't I?
We'll get straight to it then. Yesterday, a great win away at the Emirates, 2-1. We were 1-0 down for a while. Saka scored for Arsenal. Then Mahrez scored from the penalty spot. Gabrielle got a red card for Arsenal. And Rodri with a 93rd minute winner. What was your thoughts on the match, Bernard?
Yeah, I mean, I was there, obviously, and I've had a chance to watch the thing back today, which I don't normally do, to be honest. Once I watch a game, I don't usually go back and watch it particularly, but I think there was that many little things in that I wanted just to clarify for my own mind. I still obviously came out of it thinking, yes, we were quite lucky in the end. Arsenal could have actually took this. It should have been a couple of goals to the good by half time. It could have been like 4-2 on chances created. But I think at the end of the day, Arsenal just lacked a bit of experience on the pitch, and it showed. And obviously, once City got back into it, they let themselves get rattled. The fans were rattled. They were constantly booing, etc. And it affected the players. The players were rattled. And they just needed a couple of old heads in there. I don't think they got many older players, to be honest with you. And that's what they needed. And obviously, one thing City have got, even though we're not playing so well, we've got the experience. We've been through all this before. So I think at the end of the day, although it might have not been a sort of deserved victory, I think it was deserved because we just kept going. We just kept at it in the end. And unfortunately, Arsenal weren't clever enough. I think that's what it boiled down to. They were brave in the first half, and they sort of tried to hang on to things a little bit in the second half, even before they went down to 10 men. But it didn't work out for them, unfortunately, because City are an excellent team. I did see on Arsenal TV one Arsenal fan called Arsenal world class. I did chuckle a little bit. I don't know where he got that from, but he's about my age, so he's probably a little bit deluded and senile like I'm going. So that was probably the reason for that.
Yeah. We'll go to you then, Luca. 2-1 lost to City in a late goal as well. What was your thoughts on the game?
To be honest, I think first things first, thanks for having me on. Much appreciated. I've been looking forward to this. But first half, we were really all over you. And I thought we were the better team. Manchester City not having a single shot on target, which kind of surprised me. I thought going into the game 1-0 half, I think you're going to come back and just do something. I can see it. But second half, at the beginning of the game, first couple of minutes, 5-10 minutes, we continued what we're doing. Martinelli had a shot when he took all those Manchester City players on. We could have made that 2-0. That could have been game over. And getting onto the dramatic scene, right? Which I said this yesterday to a lot of people about the Bernardo Silva and Granit Xhaka situation. To me, as an Arsenal fan, I think it was a penalty, in my opinion. Granit Xhaka already pulled Bernardo Silva's shirt when he was on the floor and before he stepped on the floor. It was a penalty. But what I don't understand is about these referees and these VARs, right, is that why did the referee stop it if he already knew that it was going to be given a penalty? I don't understand that situation. But at the end of the day, right, I do think City were very lucky. Like, I don't know if you guys would probably say, City deserved to win. But I think the last half an hour, we pitchinated, we collapsed. And Gabrielle getting sent off, where I think it went all wrong. We all collapsed. We lost our heads. But I thought we were the better team for 60 minutes. And then after that, you lot just got the goal. And then the red card changed the game. And to be honest, I think Arsenal played really well. And I thought Man City in the first half was the worst Man City I've seen in a long time. like not a dominating Man City. And the last couple of games, you've not been scoring quite a lot of goals. Like, I know you beat Brentford 1-0. You beat us 2-1 yesterday. I thought City were very lucky yesterday, and it was the best chance to get something out of Man City. Like they were saying on BT Sport, last time we beat you in the Premier League was 2015, so it's coming up to 7 years. And I don't know what you thought about the whole referee situation. And like, do you think Arsenal were very unlucky? Because personally, in my hand, I thought we should have had a penalty in the first half with Odegaard. I thought Edison clipped him.
If you watch that again, I think Odegaard actually stands on Edison's foot.
Well, I'll tell you what exactly happened with that, guys. I'll tell you what happened with that penalty. It wasn't a penalty. It wasn't a clear and obvious error. So that's the simple fact of it. But if you look at it back, what Odegaard was trying to do was shoo the ball away from Edison with the inside of his foot. And obviously, as he did that, Edison went to sort of block the ball. So he didn't. Neither player aimed to foul, but Odegaard ended up standing on Edison, which obviously looked worse. But if you look at it, I mean, the contact with Odegaard and the ball was probably at the same time for Edison. So, as I said, clear and obvious error. If the referee had given a penalty, it wouldn't have been overturned. If the referee didn't give a penalty, it's not a clear and obvious error, so it's not going to be overturned. It's literally VAR working as it should. But I agree with Luca when he says, I still don't understand what is and what isn't with VAR, what's allowed and what's not allowed. But obviously, as Luca, you just missed it before you came on. I was actually saying that first half, Arsenal could have been 2 goals to the good. And when Arsenal lost it in the second half, they needed experience. They needed a couple of old heads in there to sort of keep on, because they sort of lost it as soon as we get about the 53rd minute and that penalty. That was it. Arsenal and Gabrielle and the goalkeeper scuffing the penalty spots, doing all the petulant things that kids would do, and they just lost it. They needed a couple of old heads.
When City scored, I said to myself, he's going to give a penalty here. You watch. And then the referee came up for it, and I thought, okay, he's going to give it. I can just see it. But when it went to 1-1, I said, nah, the game's done. City
you've seen experience, as I just said to Charlie. Then City for the last 10 years, a lot of those players, they've got so much experience. Arsenal, you had so much possibilities there, but you just don't have that experience to carry a game like that. And that's what, if you've been 2 goals to the good, as you said, you might have been all right, yeah. But you weren't 2 goals; it was 1 goal. So that's where they struggled. Arsenal, they couldn't. Once the equaliser went on, like you said, and once you went down to 10 men, I was still a bit wary of Arsenal, because obviously it was the big oof up, and but we seemed to cope better with that. We certainly coped better with that, didn't we, than the passing about that Arsenal were doing.
When Martinelli missed that chance, I still had hope we could have pulled a draw. When it was the 87th minute.
Oh, yeah. I said I'd take a draw to the guy next to me. I said, 80 minutes. I said, I'll take a draw now. I'm not bothered. I'll be happy with a draw.
City, to me, you lot might think City deserved to win. I didn't think City.
We didn't say that. We said City won because of our experience. Arsenal lost because of their lack of experience.
Rodri is a world-class player. I don't,
I said to you, Luca, in the pod, didn't I? If he's not playing, we'll struggle.
COVID, but he didn't have COVID, and technically, he come on and scored the winner. Rob Holding, I don't know what Rob Holding was doing on that mistake. Honest to God. So, but I was heartbroken, man. I was heartbroken.
Yeah, I don't blame it. I wouldn't blame an Arsenal fan to be heartbroken. But I literally said, Luca, what I said to Charlie, I actually watched the game back today. I watched the game yesterday and I thought, no, I'm going to watch this back because I just want to see what it was like from a camera point of view. And I watched it back on the camera, and obviously I got a total sort of interesting look at it. It didn't seem the same while I was watching it in the ground. But it was, just one of those things, and I think as long as Arsenal use it as a positive and go forward and don't dwell on it and don't whinge about it, just get on with it.
Do you think there's a lot of positives to take from this? Like, are you seeing it still? I know we didn't win the game, and I know we still haven't beaten Man City for 6-7 years in the Premier League now. But do you feel Arsenal have changed, or do you think it's the same old?
Well, I was on your pod. I was on the pod, Luca, once, and I was saying, just City aren't playing that well. City are not playing that well. There was obviously the Arsenal fans, are going to get slaughtered. But I knew it was. I told you on the pod it wasn't going to be an easy game for City, and it panned out exactly as I thought it would. We struggled, and as I said, it was just our experience. And we did get decisions, but again, in my view, almost all the decisions the referee made and the line Lino's made and the VAR made were quite correct when you look back at them with a sort of unblinkered look at it and look at it in its context. And yeah, but I thought Arsenal were exactly what I thought. Well, I thought they'd give us a cracking game. I would have took a draw before the game, believe it or not, even though I did predict we'd beat you. I would have been happy with the draw.
I went for a 3-0 City.
Yeah. So I think you underestimated what Arsenal can do at the Emirates, and obviously, I don't.
We're good at home. We've lost 2 home games in the Premier League.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. When I listen to you guys, you Arsenal fans, and even in the comments when you did your show, the negativity. I mean, I thought you're better than that, and obviously you see it week in, week out. We don't. Obviously, we see our teams week in, week out. So we have to go with whatever you think. But I was more confident for you than you were for yourselves, and I think that's sort of shown.
100%, man.
Yeah. Anyway, Charlie, sorry, mate. We obviously want to go on. We're enjoying this, but we need to get on with some stats and facts.
We'll go to you then, Luca. The starting 11 for Arsenal was like this. It was Ramsdale in goal, a back four of Tomiyasu, Ben White, Gabrielle and Kieran Tierney, with Thomas Partey and Granit Xhaka in the midfield. Saka was on the right. Martinelli was on the left. Odegaard was just behind Lacazette. What was your thoughts on the Arsenal team, Luca?
When I looked at the team, right, I thought it was a bit similar to the team as it was when we were smashing teams like Leeds and Norwich and that. The only issue I had was why was Odegaard starting? And yesterday, I didn't think I don't know what you guys thought. What did you think of Odegaard yesterday?
He didn't do much there.
Yeah, I mean, obviously, I was impressed with the Martinelli and the Sakas, but Odegaard, not particularly, no.
No, I think this was an opportunity to start Smith Rowe in this game. Because we lacked a bit of creativity. And I noticed at the beginning of the game, City were pumping forward a little bit, and Sterling was chasing down the wing when it was 0-0 at most parts of the game. I was thinking, right, we looked a little bit slow in midfield, and you can tell that Man City's midfield are going to win the battle ahead of Arsenal's midfield, because Arsenal don't have any good midfielders apart from Partey, Smith Rowe, all that. But in the central midfield, who do we have? Granit Xhaka, El Neni, and all these sort of players. These are not good enough, and these are Arsene Wenger's players, and they're still at the football club. And to me, when I looked at the team, my only issue is that Smith Rowe should have started. And when we were dominating the game before the whole controversial, when City got those 2 goals, I feel Pepe should have came on, man. It would have caused quite a lot of problems. So, for me, you can't blame Arteta.
Was Arteta? I saw a few earplugs being showed on players and stuff. Was Arteta chatting to guys and telling them what to do? Do you think?
Yeah, he was, and for me, Arteta wasn't there. He wasn't there, but he did pick the team, obviously from what you just said. And I ain't going to go in too much in Arteta because he wasn't there, but still, I do think, right, the assistant manager done a better job than Arteta. And I'm disappointed that the substitutions, like Pepe should have came on as well. Could have changed the game, but...
Yeah, I think ours did. I think ours changed the game. I thought bringing Gundogan on certainly affected it. It calmed us down. And we needed that. We needed a little bit of calm at that stage. And that was we only made 1 sub, but it was a pretty good substitution.
Yeah. Big up Chelsea fan, big up Tofferati in the chat as well. If you are new here, make sure to like, share and subscribe. We'll move to the City team then. For us, it was Ederson in goal, a back four of Cancelo, Diaz, Laporte and Ake. Rodri was in the midfield with De Bruyne and Bernardo Silva. Mahrez on the right before he goes to AFCON. Sterling on the left with Jesus up top. What was your thoughts on the City team, Bernard?
Yeah, I was glad Rodri was there. As I was saying, when we were speaking to Luca, it was looking doubtful he was going to be there, which would have been a big hole for us. And although we didn't play fantastic that first half, Rodri included, Yeah, it was reasonably happy. Obviously, I do worry when Sterling's our main guy up front because we know he just runs into dead ends. Even though he's caught a little bit of form at the moment, he's still doing the same thing, making wrong decisions. And if he's our speedy player, I was a bit worried the lack of pace, to be honest with you, to worry Arsenal too much at the back. But he did start very well. I think Luca said there. I think the first 10 or 15 minutes, I thought City played quite well, actually. I was quite impressed. We did knock it about quite well, apart from that 10-minute thing with Odegaard. I thought City probably had one good chance, and then we had another. We had a glancing header. We had a Jesus header that should have been on target. We had a glancing header from Diaz that just went past the post. I mean, it could have been 2-1 within about 15 minutes for City. So, but after that, obviously, that's when Arsenal took charge. But I was glad Rodri was there. But apart from that, I don't think he had many options. I think that was probably the best team he could put out.
Yeah. We'll look at the stats then. So just get them up here. Arsenal with 29% possession, City with 71%, 7 shots to 15, 2 shots on target each, 4 shots off target to 6, 1 block shot to 7, 5 corners each, 1 offside to 2, 13 fouls to 5, 5 yellow cards to 2, 1 red card to none, 1 big chance to 3, 1 big chance missed each. Arsenal hit the woodwork once, 5 shots inside the box to 8, 2 shots outside the box to 7. Ramsdale didn't have a save to make. Ederson had 1. 249 passes to 644. 72% accurate passes to 89%. 37% accurate long balls to 63%. 7% accurate crosses to 33%. 53% successful dribbles to 56%. Arsenal lost the ball 114 times. We lost it 117. 34 duels won to 52. 5 aerial duels won to 16. 16 tackles to 14. 10 interceptions to 2. And 15 clearances to 23. We'll go to you first, Luca. Do you think those stats represent the game well?
I genuinely think those stats, right, were absolutely fine because when you look at the stats, I felt we dominated the game more in the first 45 minutes, and Manchester City, ever since the whole controversy with the whole ref and the VAR, City had more possession, and those stats show you they're absolutely right.
Yeah, same question to you, Bernard. Do you think those stats are fair?
Yeah, I mean, obviously, I think as Luca pointed out before, I think our shots at goal and on target were abysmal. We've seen this before. We seem to be improving. All of a sudden, we've gone rubbish again at that. But no, I think that was fine. I think I would have loved to see the first half stats compared to the second half stats because I'm sure most of City's, when we were better, would have come through the second half. Obviously, as Arsenal went down to 10 men, etc. So that would have been interesting. But yeah, based on what I saw, I mean. I think the telling stat that wasn't there was I think the pass completion rate generally was 71% for Arsenal, which wasn't great overall.
No,
it got a bit ragged, and City's was 88%, which is still not great for City either, believe it or not, Luca. It's usually 90, 91, something like that. But obviously that puts extra pressure. If you're only, our 3/4 of your passes are being completed, it does put a little bit of extra pressure. Certainly, I bet that was most of the second half as well. When obviously you're trying to
City had more than 90% before.
Yeah, we've had the 88% is fairly low. It's usually 87, 88 is low for City for completion.
I thought it'd be 100.
No, it's usually about 91, 92. But I mean, obviously Arsenal pressed pretty well, so that's why that would have been knocked down. That's for sure.
Yeah. The next thing we'll talk about is the attack momentum. So as you can see, the first half Arsenal were on top. Really, we took over in the second half. In my opinion, I think you mentioned it before, but the red card changed the game as well. The inexperience of Arsenal shone through. We'll go to you then, Luca. Do you think this represents the game fairly as well? This graph?
I think it does because. When you're looking at the attack on that, you can see like what Brendan was just saying about Manchester City having 92 possession and 90 to 92, 88 possession, and Arsenal having 71. I think it makes it very, very fair because Arsenal were attacking more in the first half compared to Manchester City. And then Manchester City in the last 20, 25 minutes were just constantly just going for it and going for it and going for it and going for it. And Arsenal did try and hold on for a point, but Man City were just attacking and attacking. I think it was a fair attacking momentum for both two teams.
Yeah. And same question to you, Bernard. Do you think those...
I mean, you know as well as me, Charlie. I mean, we could tell Luca that stat in that first half. We've never seen that for a while against City in that sort of proportion of attack from an opposing team. That's just just even Liverpool, I don't think probably got anywhere near that, or Chelsea, to be honest with you, not to that extent, which shows how good Arsenal were for most of that first half. So I mean, you should be proud of that, Luca, that's for sure. As I say, as you see that yellow and red card, that's where it all just suddenly changed round. And
if Gabrielle didn't get that red card, do you think you lot would have still won that game?
Probably not. I don't think. I was just going to say then, I think without that red card, it would have been a hell of a battle. All right, at the time, it was 1-1. But it certainly could have gone either way. And as I said, at 1-1, I was happy with that. I would have took that all day long when we equalised, even as early as the 53rd minute. I would have took that and run because I knew we weren't playing well. We didn't particularly play that well in the second half, but at least we showed a little bit more commitment. And Pep said we were tired. I thought we didn't look overly tired in the first half, although the second half we did. Obviously, you could tell at the end of the game, obviously, the Arsenal players had a right to be tired because they were absolutely shattered with 10 men chasing around City, but even the City players were out on the feet as well, and that was 11 against 10. So there's a lot to be said for what Pep said, but from a fatigue point of view. But no, that was it. I mean, I think those stats are pretty spot on. I mean, as I say, and Arsenal should be proud at least for that first half, which was phenomenal for most of it.
Yeah,
definitely 100%.
We'll look at the players then. We'll go through position by position. So we'll go through both keepers first. We'll start with you, Luca, as the home team, of course. In goal was Aaron Ramsdale. His stats look like this. 1 high claim, 38 touches, 37% accurate passes, 11 out of 13 accurate long balls as well. Thoughts on Ramsdale's performance, Luca?
He didn't have nothing much to do really with Ramsdale. He kept it at not obviously conceding more goals. The stats showed, I don't lie. He didn't really have anything to do really, so he just.
Luca, looking back at that second goal, obviously the crucial goal, he got a bit drawn to his left.
Maybe he should have done better on the second
gap
goal.
to his right, didn't he? But I mean, I can understand looking how it went, but he just got a bit drawn to his left-hand post a bit too much.
I personally think, right, Brennan, maybe he should have done better on the second goal because you could tell the way the ball was scrambled in when City scored in the 93rd minute. You can just see Ramsdale, what you just said. He should have moved onto the other side of the post and he could have saved. I think Ramsdale kind of panicked a little bit.
Yeah.
We'll go to City's keeper then, of course. It was Ederson. His stats look like this. 1 save, 1 high claim, 1 save from inside the box, 48 touches, 92% accurate passes, 9 out of 11 accurate long balls, 1 clearance, 1 tackle, 1 last man tackle, 1 out of 1 ground duels were won as well. Thoughts on Ederson's performance, Bernard?
Yeah, considering the jittery guys in front of him and the way Arsenal pressed in that first half, I mean, I would have been nervous. And they didn't look as a unit. The defence didn't look great there, to be honest with you. And certainly people like Cancelo and I thought Aki was our bet. We'll go on to Aki obviously after, but I mean, he didn't have a lot to do. He couldn't do much about the goals. The goal, it was a perfectly great goal. There's a couple of Martinellis where he perhaps should have hit the target rather than pulling it wide, which would have tested Ederson a little bit more. But he didn't. It's a bit like Ramsdale in a way. He didn't. I think Arsenal had 2 shots on target. So again, a bit like us with their guy, we only had 2 shots on target. So didn't really have that much to do. But what he had to do, he looked a little bit jittery. But I don't blame him because we did look jittery along the back anyway.
Yeah. To right backs then for Arsenal, it was of course Takahiro Tomiyasu. His stats look like this: 5 clearances, 3 interceptions, 3 tackles, 3 out of 3 ground duels were won, none out of 4 aerial duels were won. He lost the ball 7 times, 44 touches, 81% accurate passes, none out of 1 accurate crosses, 1 out of 4 accurate long balls as well. Thoughts on Tomiyasu's performance, Luca?
I think Tomiyasu's performance, there was a moment at the start of the game where Sterling was coming forward and Tomiyasu just quickly ran in and just cleared the ball. And then I noticed at times when Man City had a good start, when they were whipping corners in, and Mahrez, Sterling were trying to cause us problems, and then De Bruyne had a shot and it went wide. I think Tomiyasu was okay. I don't think it wasn't the best performances, but don't get me wrong, I like Tomiyasu, right? But at the end of the day, I just think he needs to improve going forward. He needs to improve because Tomiyasu is one of those players where he just whips the balls, just cuts insides. But I don't think he wasn't that brilliant yesterday. I thought he had a poor game, to be honest.
Yeah. And Bernard, of course, at right back was Cancelo. I was actually quite surprised he started. I thought maybe he'd be on the bench after what happened throughout the week. His stats look like this: 1 tackle, dribbled past 3 times, 3 out of 8 ground duels were won, none out of 1 aerial duels were won. 12 times he lost a possession. He was fouled twice, 89 touches, 93% accurate passes, 1 key pass, 1 out of 4 accurate crosses, 3 out of 6 accurate long balls, 1 shot off target, 2 shots blocked, and none out of 2 successful dribble attempts. Thoughts on Cancelo's performance, Bernard?
Yeah, like you, mate. I was dead surprised he played, and I can't say it was because of what happened, but I thought it was a pretty miserable performance. We give him the benefit of the doubt because of the circumstances, of course. We got, and shows how desperate we were to get players on the pitch. To be honest, in the defensive situation, we know we're struggling defensively at the moment. But he was poor against Brentford, so I can't say this is a one-off because he was terrible against Brentford, I thought. And again, in this game, he was just as culpable as a couple of the other guys at the back. A very, very poor performance again, but at least we can give him an excuse for this one.
Yeah. To the centre-backs then, Arsenal's 2 were, of course, Ben White and Gabrielle. We'll go to Ben White first. 3 clearances, 2 block shots, 3 tackles, dribbled past once, 4 out of 5 ground duels were won. He lost the ball 10 times, 40 touches, 68% accurate passes, 4 out of 9 accurate long balls, and 1 out of 1 successful dribble attempts. Thoughts on Ben White's performance, Luca?
I thought he done all right at times. He was okay. There was moments in the game where it's hard to say. It's moments to say. Like, I thought he done all right in the first half. I thought he was good going forward, but he just looked a bit clumsy in the second half and all that stuff. And I don't know what you guys think about Ben White. What did you think of Ben White?
He didn't have that much to do, did he? Really,
No,
mate?
he
That was the thing. I mean, it just never put him under enough pressure as far as City were concerned. I don't think. But as you say, does that mean he can move up a little bit, or obviously that's not how.
I didn't think he didn't have a bad game. He didn't have much to do. I don't think he wasn't involved as much. I thought he was decent. I thought he was all right. But he wasn't really involved in much.
Nothing special, mate.
Because
just
recently, in the last 2 games, he's been playing right back because Tomiyasu's been having COVID in that. But I think Ben White had a decent game. I thought he'd done okay.
Yeah. And then someone who, of course, didn't play the full game got sent off after an hour. Gabrielle is next up. 2 clearances, 2 tackles, 2 out of 3 ground duels were won, 1 out of 2 aerial duels were won. He lost the ball 3 times, 1 foul, 19 touches, 85% accurate passes, 1 out of 2 accurate long balls as well. Thoughts on Gabrielle while he was on the pitch, Luca?
I think he had a good start. But then after that, it went all wrong. I thought the red card was a bit of a stupid, clumsy thing to do. I thought he was a bit poor because
Like, there was no need for him to do that, and then gets a second yellow card book on offence, because him doing that red card was just bang out of order. There was no need for him to do that, because
I can't understand the Arsenal fans applauding him off, mate. I would have been disgusted as a fan. I would have said, "What the hell are you doing?"
This is the problem with our fan base, and I don't know why people were just like applauding him off. And I can understand that they feel really sorry because he got sent off. But Gabrielle should be ashamed for himself. That like him and Jack.
How old is he? How old is he, Luca?
How old is he?
20
something. 20.
Yeah, he's not dead young, is he? He's not young inexperienced, is he?
No, he's not. But he's getting on a bit
24.
now. So I think he's like 26, 27.
24, Charlie said.
24.
Yeah. 24,
So
yeah.
perhaps he's still young.
He's still young, but he's been one of our best centre halves this season. And like, I just think he makes stupid, clumsy things like that. And this is the problem. He needs to cut out these situations. And me and Stephen said this yesterday, and Stephen rated him, I think it was 0 yesterday. I can't remember. But it's just a red card. It's just a red card what he did. And like,
needless, absolutely needless. I mean, we had the same thing with...
He gave a rough up penalty spot to Mahrez.
Yeah.
And then pulling Gabriel Jesus as well.
Well, even Ramsdale had to go at the penalty spot as well. Did you notice that?
He did.
You know, I mean, I don't. I mean, these are grown adults. That I don't understand the logic. When the cameras are there as well, do they have brains? These football players. Obviously, it must be all in the boot sometimes because they do some stupid things.
Yeah. We'll move to City's 2 centre backs then. We'll start off with the captain from yesterday. Ruben Diaz. His stats look like this: 5 clearances, 1 block shot, 1 out of 2 aerial duels were won. He lost the ball 6 times. He was offside once. 91 touches, 94% accurate passes, 3 out of 5 accurate long balls, 1 shot off target, 1 shot blocked, and 1 big chance missed. Thoughts on Diaz's performance?
Yeah, I mean, he was culpable. He couldn't cope with Arsenal in that first with the sort of we're getting in behind him and Laporte all the time down the wings, and he couldn't. The poor defending for the goal. All credit to Arsenal, they got the players in the box. But I thought he looked more comfortable in the second half when we were getting the long ball job. He could cope. He's a big lad. He could cope better with that. And as a team, we played better against that. The best thing or the worst thing Arsenal could have done was to start playing those long balls. He just wanted to try and play the ball like they were, even with 10 men. They needed to keep playing football if they could. And that sort of played into Diaz's hands for the second half. But he had a bobbins first half, to be honest with you. But he did make up a little bit for it.
Yeah. He also tweeted, "Whenever it seems difficult, keep believing, fighting, and stay together. Very tough periods with lots of games and many travelling. But the team was there and left it all on the pitch. Best way to start 2022. Let's rest now and keep the focus. Happy New Year, everyone, from all of us." We'll move to Emerick Laporte then. His stats look like this: 1 clearance, 1 tackle, 1 error that led to a shot, 3 out of 3 ground duels were won, 3 out of 3 aerial duels were won. He lost the ball 7 times. He was fouled once, 95 touches, 92% accurate passes, 7 out of 10 accurate long balls, 1 shot off target, 1 shot blocked, and 1 out of 1 successful dribble attempts. Thoughts on Laporte's performance?
Well, really, a minute after we get an Arsenal player sent off, obviously a point in time where we can perhaps go on and seal this game. He literally does a Jamie Pollock. I mean, obviously City fans will know who Jamie Pollock is. Luca probably won't, but he scored a famous own goal with his head many years ago. And he turned into, what the hell was it? I mean, what the hell was he doing? I have no idea. He just panicked, and fortunately, Aki managed to do his bit, but we'll talk about him in a second. But yeah, I mean, just for that, and that was he was okay apart from that, but he struggled like Diaz did. But Yeah, I mean, and even with Aki's clearance, I mean, Martinelli perhaps should have done a little bit better as well. So we could have been 2-1 down again then, even though they'd obviously gone down to 10 men. But no, Laporte didn't cover himself with any real glory yesterday. He was okay in parts, but I think I saw an error too as well that he made that nearly resulted in a goal. So again, another forgettable performance from one of our main central defenders.
Yeah. Big up James in the chat as well. Hope you're well. Laporte then tweeted, a tough one to start the year, but we got what we came for. We'll move to Kieran Tierney then for Arsenal. His stats look like this. He got the assist for the goal, 1 block shot, none out of 3 ground duels were won, 1 out of 2 aerial duels were won. He lost the ball 13 times, one foul, 30 touches, 85% accurate passes, 1 key pass, 1 out of 6 accurate crosses, none out of 1 accurate long balls, and none out of 2 successful dribble attempts. Thoughts on Tierney's performance, Luca?
I think Tierney was good yesterday. He was involved and played the assist on Saka's opening goal for Arsenal. I thought it was a really good assist. He went up against a tricky opponent like Bernardo Silva and all that stuff. I thought he played all right. I thought he was good. And he got the assist. And I thought he was decent.
Yeah. We'll move to Nathan Ake then for City. His stats look like this. 4 clearances, 1 interception, none out of 2 ground duels were won, 7 out of 7 aerial duels were won. He lost the ball 11 times, 1 foul, 76 touches, 85% accurate passes, 1 out of 2 accurate long balls, and none out of 1 successful dribble attempts. Thoughts on Ake's performance, Bernard?
Well, he did it again, mate, didn't he? In a very poor defensive performance. Ake, the least experienced, the one with our number 4th choice centre-back, was played far better than the main guys. He did it again. He did everything asked of him. He wasn't perfect by any means. Of course he wasn't. He was just as culpable in that first half, obviously getting turned and run past by Arsenal players. But you have to say, of the defenders, he was our best guy on the day and arguably our best player on the pitch.
Yeah. We'll move on into the midfield then. Arsenal played a slightly different formation to City, so we'll go through Arsenal's 2 holding midfielders. The first one was, of course, Thomas Partey. His stats look like this: 48 touches, 75% accurate passes, 1 key pass, none out of 1 accurate crosses, 1 out of 3 accurate long balls, 5 out of 6 successful dribble attempts, 9 out of 14 ground duels were won, none out of 1 aerial duels were won, 12 times he lost the possession, 2 fouls, 1 block shot, 1 interception, 4 tackles, and he was dribbled past once. Thoughts on Partey's performance, Luca?
I think Partey was really good yesterday. I thought Partey, for me, he was pushing higher up the field against Manchester City. He was involved quite a lot in the first half, and I think it was one of his best games in an Arsenal shirt. For me, I'm going to give him an 8. I thought he was really, really good yesterday, and he protected some of the back 4. Towards the second half, he did feel a little bit tired towards the end, and but he put in a really good shift yesterday.
Yeah. And then next to Partey was, of course, Granit Xhaka.
Oh, no. Granit Xhaka.
35 touches, 96% accurate passes, none out of 1 accurate long balls, none out of 1 successful dribble attempts, 1 out of 8 ground duels were won. He lost the ball twice, 2 fouls, 2 clearances, 1 block shot, 2 interceptions, 1 tackle. He was dribbled past 5 times, and he, of course, gave away the penalty. Thoughts on Xhaka's performance, Luca?
Xhaka, poor. Never want him in this club again. Xhaka, not good enough for this football club. But anyway, I could talk about Xhaka all day long. But Xhaka, for me, he was poor, man. He was absolutely poor. Stupid decision, cost the game, very clumsy, giving the penalty away, which cost the game. There was no need for Xhaka to do that because City were not going to score from that angle anyway. And he makes mistakes left, right, and centre, and it's typical Granit Xhaka, okay? There was no need for him to do that foul. for me, if I had to give you a rating right now, he gets a 2. He was absolutely poor, and that's it. Like every time, he always lets Arsenal down in an important game. He let us down in Unai Emery's first season, right, where we finished 1 point off top 4, 2 points off third against that Brighton game. He's cost us so many games. Why did Roman not take Granit Xhaka? I do not know. We wanted to pay more money. Roman wanted the money, apparently. Xhaka is not good enough, mate. He made a stupid, clumsy challenge. I don't know what you guys think about Granit Xhaka's yesterday's performance.
Well, we wouldn't. I don't think we'd have him based on that.
Of course he wouldn't. No.
Definitely not. Definitely not. Just before we move to Rodri, Nathan Ake said this on his goal line clearance. I saw it happening a little bit, so I thought I will keep going just in case, and it happened. I just predicted something may go wrong as I saw Ederson come off his line, and luckily I kept going and cleared it off the line. We'll move to Rodri then. His stats look like this. Of course, scored the goal. 88 touches, 90% accurate passes, 1 key pass, 3 out of 5 accurate long balls, 1 shot on target, 2 out of 6 ground duels were won, 2 out of 3 aerial duels were won. He lost the ball 8 times, 2 fouls, 5 clearances, 2 tackles, and he was dribbled past twice. Thoughts on Rodri's performance, Bernard?
Yeah, I mean, you forgive anything for that last-minute goal, don't you? We need goals from all over the pitch. We don't have a striker, of course, and it's not unusual to see players like Laporte and Diaz and Rodri up there for attacks, certainly late in a game where we need goals. And obviously, fortunately, he popped up and did it. But yeah, I think Arsenal bypassed him nicely in the first half. I thought he couldn't really get involved. I think they played it correctly. They sort of passed round him and got it into the channels left and right. And I think he was a little bit lost. But considering he's coming back from COVID as well, I mean, all credit to the guy. He turned up and he got a crucial goal for us, which it's all that matters in the end as far as Rodri's concerned.
Yeah. A couple stats and quotes for Rodri. Rodri's winning goal against Arsenal was the latest winning goal City have scored in a Premier League match since Gabriel Jesus scored against Southampton in 2018. And then a few quotes. Rodri said, "It's a dream to score this kind of goal. Football is like this. It will always make you surprised. And I am so happy because I have had a very tough week. I came back and felt a little bit tired in the last minutes, but I gave everything." He also says it's a massive goal and important because of the 3 points. It teaches us that you have to believe until the last minute. We knew that we were not brilliant in the sense that they were dropping and we didn't find the spaces. It is tough. He also says, but there was a long ball. Laporte knocked the ball on and I scored. Football is like this and you have to go for it to score the goal. That is why we won. This kind of game, you always have two or three in a season. They're an unbelievable team. They show why they're in that position. The way they grow with Mikel is huge. And finally, on the penalty, he had no doubts about the penalty. I had doubts in the first action. I didn't know if there was enough contact, but I get close to the screen and it's a clear penalty. We'll move on to Martin Odegaard then for Arsenal. His stats look like this. He was only on the pitch for 63 minutes, 23 touches, 84% accurate passes, none out of 1 accurate crosses, 2 out of 2 accurate long balls, none out of 5 ground duels were won, 1 out of 1 aerial duels were won. 6 times he lost a possession, 1 foul, and he was dribbled past twice. Thoughts on Odegaard's performance, Luca?
I personally think, Charlie, I think Odegaard was very poor. I didn't really get involved as much yesterday. He made a few good couple of tackles. He did try to obviously get involved, but wasn't the best game for him. I don't rate Martin Odegaard, but recently he's done very, very well, and I've backed him so far. But I thought he was poor yesterday.
Yeah. And then in the midfield for City, it was, of course, KDB and Bernardo. We'll go to De Bruyne first. 63 touches, 78% accurate passes, 3 key passes, 1 out of 3 accurate crosses, 1 shot off target, none out of 2 successful dribble attempts, 1 out of 6 ground duels were won, 1 out of 1 aerial duels were won. 17 times he lost the ball. He was fouled once, 1 offside, 3 clearances, and he was dribbled past twice. Thoughts on De Bruyne's performance?
Yeah, still not at his best. Obviously, he's played a little bit better than that last 2 or 3 games. But one thing about KDB, he kept going. He kept moving. He kept going. He was behind most of the stuff that City did okay in the second half. And of course, he supplied the cross that eventually led to the winning goal. So all credit to him for he was tired. He was on his back by the end of the game, wasn't he? Which showed how much work he put in. He never stopped. It didn't quite all go well for him, but. Yeah, he was in the right place at the right time to provide that at the end.
Yeah. And then he tweeted, left it all on the pitch today. You can see the picture of him on his back there. Worked his arse off the whole game. We'll move to Bernardo then. In the midfield, of course. 66 touches, 81% accurate passes, 1 key pass, 3 out of 4 accurate long balls, 2 shots blocked, 4 out of 4 successful dribble attempts. He won the penalty. 9 out of 11 ground duels were won. 14 times he lost the ball. He was fouled 3 times, 1 clearance, 2 tackles, and he was dribbled past once. Thoughts on Bernardo's performance, Bernard?
Yeah, he gave the ball away a lot. He had a couple of times he lacked control on the ball, which is unusual for Bernardo. But I think the base, what we saw of Bernardo yesterday was his sheer shithousery, which is quite good at sometimes. He winds the ref up, he winds the players up, he winds the fans up. And when he's playing for you, you don't mind it. It's when he's playing against you, you don't particularly like it. But that's what he can do. He's fantastic on the ball, but he's well capable of the dark arts. And of course, it was a penalty, it was a foul, but hey, he made the most of it. And at the end of the day, how many times have City players tried to stand up and get nothing, even though they've been clearly fouled? So at the end of the day, it was a clear shirt pull, and he made the most of it. So well done for him. It wasn't his greatest game as far as with the ball was concerned, but as far as the City fans and the City team was concerned, that shithousery was top notch. But it's not so much for the Arsenal fans and the Arsenal players, unfortunately.
Yeah. We'll move back to Luca then. I don't know if he's here actually, but
you there, Luca?
I'm still here, mate. I was waiting.
Bukayo Saka is next. He scored the goal, of course, went off after 84 minutes, 39 touches, 65% accurate passes, none out of 4 accurate crosses, 1 out of 2 accurate long balls, 1 shot on target, none out of 2 successful dribble attempts, 2 out of 10 ground duels were won, none out of 1 aerial duels were won. 19 times he lost the possession, 3 fouls. He was fouled twice, 1 offside, 1 clearance as well. Thoughts on Saka's performance, Luca?
I think he played really, really well, Charlie. I think he played really, really well. Him scoring the first goal, Tierney involving was really, really good. And he caused you quite a lot of problems. And Saka's on really good confidence now. And I know I was talking with Steve and I was talking with other people in the past, they're saying about Saka's not had a proper rest since the first ever lockdown. But I think Saka's really on really good confidence. I thought he played really well yesterday.
Yeah, we'll move back to you then, Bernard. On the right was, of course, Riyad Mahrez. He scored the penalty, 62 touches, 92% accurate passes, 3 key passes, none out of 1 accurate crosses, 2 out of 3 accurate long balls, 1 shot on target, 1 shot blocked, 1 out of 3 ground duels were won, 1 out of 2 aerial duels were won. 11 times he lost the possession, 1 foul, 1 clearance, and 1 tackle as well. Thoughts on Mahrez's performance?
Yeah, I thought he was saving something for the AFCON. I didn't think he was that great yesterday, but he wasn't alone, was he? Let's be honest about it. But you give him credit for just putting up with all that stuff before the penalty, the long wait. It must have been at least 3 or 4 minutes, if not longer, between it being awarded and him getting round to actually eventually taking it. I don't know what. I mean, obviously that's his favourite spot. I think as a goalkeeper, I would have. I know players alternate. Of course, they do with penalty kicks, but I would have said to him, if I was Ramsdale goalkeeper coach, I would have said, go high to your left, mate. That's what I would have told him. As you know, I was a bit of a keeper, not to this level, obviously, but that's where I would have gone based on what I know about Mr. Mahrez, and obviously the guys knew that, but he just went totally the other way, and it was a great penalty anyway. He may not have got to it, but yeah, a bit odd. But yeah, he scored the goal, so I'll give him credit. But I think he had one eye on his little trip to Africa, I think.
Yeah. And then next up is Gabrielle Martinelli. His stats look like this. 31 touches, 60% accurate passes, 9 out of 1 accurate crosses, 1 out of 2 accurate long balls, 1 shot on target, 4 shots off target, 3 out of 5 successful dribble attempts. He hit the woodwork once, 1 big chance missed, 5 out of 8 ground duels were won, 1 out of 6 aerial duels were won 8 times. He lost a possession, 1 foul. He was fouled once, 3 interceptions and 1 tackle. Thoughts on Martinelli's performance, Luca?
Martinelli was absolutely brilliant yesterday, and this guy's going to be continuing being really a good youngster, and also Martinelli is going to be a really, really good future for the future. I think he was absolutely brilliant yesterday, and he caused you lot quite a lot of problems. There was a period where Martinelli span around all your Manchester City players. He could have had a couple yesterday. I just feel like the only thing I'm disappointed with him, but I'm not really going to get into him, is that he should have scored that chance, but the referee was in the way. But no, other than that, I thought he was brilliant. He gets man of the match for me.
Yeah, can I just chip in? I mean, obviously, as Luca said there, I mean, I don't know what his shot ratio on target ratio to whatever. He did everything perfectly, and I say he could have had at least 2 or 3 goals at least. And if there was one player from Arsenal I would take, like Saka's, or we've already talked for it, but he's definitely one I would take. Martinelli. I think he was outstanding, and there was one in that first half where he just left. I think it was Laporte and Cancelo were just, and they high-fived themselves, even though he sort of shot it wide. And as though they'd done something they hadn't. They might have put him off a little bit, but I mean, he'd actually had him in knots. He tied him in knots on that side, and then the defenders high-fived themselves because the fact he blasted it just wide. And I was a bit confused by them high-fiving each other because they hadn't done anything. They hadn't done anything to stop him. But yeah, I thought he was their best player, and probably as a man of the match overall, probably was.
Yeah. Next up then is Raheem Sterling. He's of course at the top of the league. If you're struggling to find him, 78 touches, 84% accurate passes, 1 key pass, 1 out of 1 accurate crosses, 9 out of 1 accurate long balls, 1 big chance created, 1 shot off target, 2 out of 4 successful dribble attempts, 12 out of 19 ground duels were won, 18 times he lost a possession, 1 foul, he was fouled 4 times, 1 clearance, 1 interception, and 6 tackles. Thoughts on Sterling's performance, Bernard?
Well, I think he was the only one to cause Arsenal real problems from a forwards point of view. So in that first half, he did cause them problems. Unfortunately, we know with Sterling, he has shown a little bit of form recently, but he just holds on to it too long. He tries to beat an extra man when perhaps he should try and lay it off to someone, and he just fell into that trap again yesterday. Even though I thought he was our best probably forward player as such. Again, he was just doesn't know when to shoot or doesn't know when to pass it. That's his problem. But I think Arsenal struggled a little bit to cope with him. But I just want to see a little bit more from Sterling, as in creativity and score. We know he scored a few recently on tap-ins, but obviously for himself down that wing or up the middle, I need him to lay it off sometimes, play some 1-2s and get on the end of it, rather than trying to beat 10. He beats one man and goes back and tries to beat him again. And all credit to Arsenal, they sort of drowned him out, didn't they? But yeah, interesting with Sterling. He is our best player at the moment, but that doesn't say that much because forward-wise, we're struggling just a little.
Yeah. And he tweeted big 3 points to start the new year. We'll move to the strikers then. We'll start with you, Luca. Of course, it was Alexandra Lacazette for Arsenal. His stats look like this. He was on the pitch for 71 minutes, 1 shot blocked, 20 touches, 55% accurate passes, 1 key pass, for 1 out of 3 ground duels were won, none out of 1 aerial duels were won. 8 times he lost the possession, 1 foul, he was fouled once, 1 clearance, and he was dribbled past once as well. Thoughts on Lacazette's performance, Luca?
I thought he was poor yesterday, and I just think he weren't up for it. And Lacazette was just so lazy yesterday. I just don't think he was very, very poor. Wasn't really getting involved in the game. I think it was one of his worst performances in an Arsenal shirt.
Yeah, I'd echo that. I didn't even know he was playing half the time, to be honest with you. I forgot he was there. He was so ineffective. He just didn't do anything. I thought, what a waste. He surely could have had some young lad up there doing a better job than he did.
Man.
Yeah. And then up front for City was, of course, Gabriel Jesus. His stats look like this. He was on the pitch for 63 minutes, 1 shot off target, 3 out of 4 successful dribble attempts, 27 touches, 86% accurate passes, 1 key pass, none out of 2 accurate long balls, 4 out of 5 ground duels were won, 1 out of 2 aerial duels were won. He lost the ball 7 times and he was fouled once. Thoughts on Jesus' performance, Bernard?
Yeah, when I watched it back, he looked a bit more involved than I thought when I was there, but it wasn't great. His main contribution was obviously getting Gabrielle to bloody pull him back. That was his main contribution to the game. I think he didn't have his greatest game. But again, in line with most of the City team, players didn't have the greatest game. And obviously, by the time he went off, when City were in the ascendancy, obviously it was too late. Then he'd already gone off, so he had no chance to show anything then. But he wasn't as bad as I thought when I watched the game back. But yeah, apart from the Gabrielle incident, pretty invisible, I would have thought, for most of that game. And Charlie's gone off. What do you think, Luca, about Gabby Jesus? Any thoughts on him?
I don't think he didn't do anything yesterday. I don't really think he didn't do anything.
Lacazette.
It was a bit like Lacazette. He just I don't know what you think about Gabriel Jesus as a player now, because he's you lot have been playing so well without a striker, but you say that, and I know you've proved everyone wrong that you don't need a striker, but still, I think you're going to have to need a striker future down the line, because playing without a striker, this can't happen all the time. You would need a proper goal scorer, and you need someone young who's going to be world class. And I think he was non-existent. I don't really remember seeing any of them in the game, really.
Yeah, I mean, he sort of tended to pick the ball up more in midfield or on one of the wings and do. He was okay in little snippets, but we've already accepted that Gabby isn't a number 9. He doesn't, and I don't think he likes playing number 9. For Brazil, he doesn't play as a number 9. He might wear the number 9 shirt, but he doesn't play as a number 9. So he plays more on the wing. But he's not been great the last few weeks, to be honest with you. And Charlie's back in the room.
He didn't do much, to be honest, Jesus. He tweeted, first game of the year, first win, plus 3 points. We'll move on to the subs then, starting with Arsenal. First up, the first sub was Rob Holding. He was on the pitch for 27 minutes, 1 clearance, 1 box shot, 1 interception, 1 tackle, 1 error that led to a shot. 1 out of 2 ground duels were won, 1 out of 3 aerial duels were won. He lost the ball once, 1 foul, 12 touches, 86% accurate passes as well. Thoughts on Rob Holding's performance, Luca?
Poor, absolutely poor. It led up to the goal. He conceded the goal, which cost the game. Looked a bit scrabbly when the ball went in. The whole defence was just standing. Holding was just ball watching. And for me, he's getting a 0, in my opinion.
Yeah. Next up then was Emile Smith-Rowe. He was on the pitch for 19 minutes, 10 touches, 83% accurate passes, none out of 1 accurate crosses, none out of 1 accurate long balls. 3 times he lost the possession, 1 block shot as well. Thoughts on Smith-Rowe's performance, Luca?
Didn't really do anything, really. And probably gets a standard 5. He didn't do anything, really.
Yeah. And then the final sub was Mohamed El Neni. He was on the pitch for 14 minutes, 8 touches, 100% accurate passes, 1 out of 1 ground duels were won, and he 1 tackle as well. Didn't do much, did he, Luca?
No, he didn't do nothing, man. Standard 5.
And then the only City sub was Gundogan. He was on the pitch for 27 minutes, 26 touches, 87% accurate passes, 1 out of 2 accurate long balls, none out of 1 ground duels were won. He lost the ball 3 times, 1 clearance, and he was dribbled past once as well. Thoughts on Gundogan's performance, Bernard?
Yeah, I think I mentioned before he was just a calming influence. I thought just a bit cooler in the middle. I mean, obviously, for these players being tired, Pep just makes 1 substitution, so that says it all, really, doesn't it? But you got 4 young lads there. You got 423 academy players on the bench. Stick them on. I'm sure they've got fresh legs to last for 20 minutes. But obviously, it wasn't that, so we couldn't afford to do that because we didn't want to lose the game, unfortunately. So we couldn't take any chances. But yeah, Gundo was all right. For me, he just calmed things down and obviously give Arsenal a little bit more to worry about because he a bit more control on the ball. So obviously gave Arsenal something to, and Jesus wasn't doing it. So obviously at least we put on someone a bit more positive and getting at least, stopped. It gave Arsenal something to think about, as I said, by putting Gundogan on, and he was okay.
Yeah, he tweeted as well. That's what you call big points. You asked for this before, Bernard. You like to see a comparison of the first and the second half. We've got it here. So the first half, Arsenal with 29% possession. We had 71%. It was 25-75 in the second half. 7 shots to 15, 2 shots on target each, 4 shots off target to 6, 1 block shot to 7. In the second half, 2 shots to 11, no shots on target to 2, 2 shots on target off target to 3, no block shots to 6. 5 corners each in the first half, 1 offside to 2, 13 fouls to 5, 5 yellow cards to 2, 1 red card to none. I don't know why it says 1 red card in each half. There was only 1 red card in the game. 2 corners to 1, 1 offside to 2, 5 yellow cards to 2 as well. 1 big chance to 3, 1 big chance missed each. Arsenal hit the woodwork in the first half. 5 shots inside the box to 8, 2 shots outside the box to 7. Edison had 1 save to make in the first half. 1 big chance to 2, 1 big chance missed to none. 2 shots inside the box to 5, no shots outside the box to 6, and no saves by either of the keepers in the second half. In the first half, 249 passes to 644, 72% accurate passes to 89%. 37% accurate long balls to 63% and 7% accurate crosses to 33% in the first half. In the second half, 107 passes to 330, 60% accurate passes to 88%, 22% accurate long balls to 52%, and Arsenal didn't complete a cross out of 6 in the second half to our 25%. 53% successful dribbles to 56%. In the first half, Arsenal lost the ball 114 times to our 117. That must be from that doesn't sound right to me. 34 duels 1 to 52, 5 aerial duels 1 to 16, 16 tackles to 14, 10 interceptions to 2, and 15 clearances to 23. 60% successful dribbles each in the second half. 59 times Arsenal lost the ball, 58 times we lost it. 12 duels 1 to 26, 2 aerial duels 1 to 12, 5 tackles to 4, 4 clearances to none, and 4 interceptions to none, and 8 clearances to 14. Do you think that represents the game fairly, Bernard?
I wish I never asked now, mate. To be honest, I've been totally baffled by them stats. I've picked a couple up, and I think the couple I picked up there that were the main was yes. I think City had more of their chances in the second half, which I thought anyway. But yeah, cheers, mate. But just totally flummoxed me all that lot. To be honest with you, my head's hurting now. I don't know about Luca, but my head's hurting. Yeah, I think we sort of. I think we more or less know what happened. And obviously, I thought the second half was probably, based on those stats, was probably a little bit more even, obviously, but City had a bit more dominance going forward. But yeah, thanks for that, mate. I'll give me an headache now.
That's really good stats, man. I'm impressed.
Anthony says he's still hurting after the game as well.
Yeah, it'll be all right, Anthony, mate. You'll be fine. Don't worry.
Yeah.
We'll go back. You got a semi-final, haven't you, coming up, Luca?
Yeah, we've got
Carabao. That'll cheer you up.
Carabao Cup action on Thursday against Liverpool. I'm doing a preview some point this week. Might do it on Tuesday, and on my channel as well. If anyone wants to come on, any fan can come on if they want and talk about the game.
At least they'll give you a chance to get get it out of your system, but obviously it's not the easiest.
To be honest, I thought the African Cup of Nations started this week, but it doesn't. It doesn't start until a week on Monday. And I thought Salah and Mane were not going to be available for the first leg.
I think they've also, because I think our guy's gone. Mahrez has gone.
Partey's gone.
Yeah, I mean they've had
Pepe's gone.
They've had special dispensation. I think that's typical, isn't it? Typical.
Who's that?
The AFCON. The Liverpool players are going later.
We'll go back to you then, Luca. Of course, Arteta weren't in the dugout, so it was Albert Stuyvenberg. I think it was mostly
Uncle Albert.
I think it was mostly Arteta who made the decisions. But how do you think? Do you think he got it right yesterday?
It's a question to say. I thought maybe it was mainly Arteta's fault who done all this, because obviously he wasn't on the pitch, but he should have brought Pepe on. And I feel like he could have been a game changer. Should have started Smith Rowe yesterday over Odegaard. He done a better job than Arteta, but I don't think he didn't get it right. If that makes sense.
Yeah.
There's
key moments. One of the key moments when
there
you
was
the change to be made, and it just wasn't the right change.
Yeah.
Anthony says Albert in, Arteta out. We'll go to you then, Bernard. Pep for us, of course. Do you think he got it right yesterday?
Well, based on the result, yes. I mean, and based on the fact, I just think he's dealing with an interesting. All right, people say we've not had all the, Mr. Klopp has been whinging about COVID, but we have had a fair amount of it. It's just been spread about, and not obviously as it's been covered by niggles. We called them niggles rather than COVID and stuff like this. When a player's been injured, it's been a niggle, but it's not. Something else is going on, and that's what's happened with City. But yeah, he was forced to play perhaps players who weren't 100% yesterday, because despite what people say, we've probably got one of the smallest first team squads of the top six at the moment. So despite what everyone says, we haven't got all right, we should have, but we haven't. We've got, I think we're down to about 17 first 17, and other teams put out 22, 23 first team squad. So he did all right. I say, against a very, very good Arsenal team. We got the win, and he tactically got it right. He didn't bring any subs on, which was unusual because we were tired. But having said that, we couldn't afford to bring subs on because it would have perhaps given the impetus back to Arsenal by doing that. If he brought a couple of the young lads on, for instance, it wouldn't have helped. So the substitute he did make was spot on with Gundogan. That was probably the ideal substitution to make at the right time. And I think based on that, you'd have to say he did the job.
Yeah. Big up Drake and Devils United, both in the chat as well. Some quotes from Pep then. 11 games in a row is so great in this period. Every time, just take a look at our bench today. It was 4 guys from the academy. He also said, on people saying Man City have already won the Premier League. He said, give it to me, give it to us, and we go to the Maldives on holiday. He also said we had many injuries this period today. We were mentally and physically tired. Sometimes it comes on our side. He also said we had many cases from COVID this season and injuries. Foden, Walker today was back for the first time. And in this period today, we were incredibly tired. Arsenal were better today, but football happens. He also said, congratulations, they were better. We faced a team who had 6 or 7 days since the last game. We had 2 days and come back and didn't have a team. That's why we put one more player in the middle. It was difficult. We didn't have energy. He also said on selecting Cancelo, we spoke with him, the club. It was a real tough moment for him and his family. All the family was there. Unexplained what happened, really scary. And he also said, unfortunately, it happened. He feels good. His family feels good. We spoke and he's ready to play. That's about Cancelo as well. So next up, we'll go to you, back to you then, Bernard. How do you think Arsenal played?
Very well. As I said, they just lacked that little bit of push to get them over the line. I said they should have been 2 goals to the good at least by half time. They should have took full advantage. But as Pep said, that's football. Football's football. Things aren't always as you expect them to be. And they did enough to win in that second half as well. But obviously certain players let them down, like Gabrielle let them down. It's as simple as that. Lacazette let them down for most of the game because he wasn't even there. Even when they were in the ascendancy, he wasn't there. So certain players didn't pull the weight despite them having a great game, I thought, Arsenal. And I think they can go on. And I think I said this to Luca on the tweet yesterday or whatever.
Yeah.
Definitely top 4's a definite possibility. Obviously, I know they're not happy with Arteta, but they've got some good young players there. Perhaps they do need 1 or 2 older heads, cleverer heads as well in that team, just to help them out and balance it out. But I was impressed. Arsenal, to me, yesterday, everything I expected. I thought they'd give us a cracking game, and we were fortunate to come away with the win, and we'll take it. But all credit to Arsenal.
Yeah. Same question for you, Luca. How do you think City played?
Like I said at the beginning of the game, I think Manchester City was a very, very unusual poor Manchester City side in the first 45 minutes. I thought we were all over you. I just feel like what Brendan said, if the whole red card situation with the whole VAR referee situation, if that wasn't involved, if Gabrielle didn't get sent off, we could have walked away with a point. I would have been proud with a point. But positives I will take is, I'm not going to go into negative now. I'm going to end it on a good high with a positive note. Positive I will say is that we showed a bit of fight. We almost walked away with a draw result. Could have won the game in some circumstances, maybe if Martinelli would have buried that chance. But if we play like that, consistency, but put it into 3 points, we can make it into the top 4. We haven't been in the Champions League for 5 years. Do I think we'll get Champions League football? I don't think so. But in January, we need to go for a central midfielder and we need to go for a striker. But Manchester City played really well towards the last 20 minutes. And do I think they deserve to win? In my opinion, no. But other than that, I want to congratulate Man City for getting the 3 points.
Yeah. We'll move on to the referee then. This could be interesting. Stuart Atwell. Luca, how do you think he did?
-50. He was poor, man. He was absolutely poor, man. Like, literally, some of the decisions what he did, we should have had a penalty for Martin Odegaard. He's a secret Man City fan or Salford fan. So he's a secret City fan. I thought he was poor. I thought the whole VAR situation, what was the point? Obviously saying that he wasn't even going to give the penalty, and then he decided to give it. It was a penalty anyway. But at the end of the day, it's like, why would you leave it to the last minute? You either get on with the game, while it was 1-0 to us at the time. He was one of the worst referees, man. Gets a -50, man.
We'll go to you then, Bernard. How do you think Stuart Atwell did?
Oh, come on, Luke. I mean, he had to put up with Lino, who couldn't get his microphone right.
You to you lot, you would think he was good because he got the 3 points, didn't you?
No, but he had to put up with that. He had to put up with Kevin Friend as linesman for a bit, and then he went back to the fourth official. I mean, the poor lad didn't know if he was coming or going.
No, I just
and I agree with Match of the Day. He said that we said obviously, even Mr. Ian Wright said he made every big decision correct, and VAR did. So we'll go with whatever Ian Wright says.
Yeah, Match of the Day.
Match of the Day anyway. So
Match of the Day agree with all major decisions made by the officials in the match as well. So on the ref, the kickoff was shortly delayed because the assistant referee had to be replaced as well. So
Zadikus, that's his name.
Yeah. I wasn't going to attempt, but you saved me there. We'll move to you, Bernard. Then, the fans, how were they yesterday?
Yeah, I thought Arsenal fans were very good. Actually, I thought I was quite impressed. We were quiet yesterday for an away game because we don't stop it. It's a funny carrying of sound in that little corner. It doesn't quite carry from the two sides. I was sort of not middleish, but a bit to the right, and it was very hard to hear those on the left and stuff. And it's a bit like the sound doesn't seem to carry. But I was quite impressed with the Arsenal fans. A bit, they could do with a few more songs. I got a bit bored with the same songs being sung, but I mean, you can hear Arsenal a few times, but I think I could do with a few more in the repertoire. But no, I thought they were all right. Obviously, a lot of empty seats. I know we get a lot of stick, Luca, but bloody hell, I mean, at that top tier, it was a third empty at least. I would be very surprised if there was 50,000 there yesterday. I thought it was about 40. If you moved everyone along in the seats, you probably get 45,000. I know it's not.
To be honest, our stadium is 60,000, but there was a lot of before the game. There was lots of general sales on sale.
Yeah. I mean, that's it. I mean, if you look last few seasons, I mean, obviously they've struggled a little bit because, I mean, fans vote with their feet, don't they, Luca? You know what it's like. It's not been great, has it? Let's be honest about it. But I thought the ones up there, I thought they were quite good last night. Yesterday, one of the best I've sort of heard from the Arsenal.
I don't think many people weren't going because of New Year's and they couldn't get a ticket.
A lot of kids. I walked around Luca for a good hour and a half. There's a lot of kids in attendance as well, which is nice to see for the future of Arsenal. I think they've got a very young fan base as well. That was nice to see. A lot of kids going to the game, especially with it being New Year's Day as well. And I was quite impressed with Arsenal. I mean, that's one of the better ones. It perhaps could have turned some of the booing into a more positive singing, if you know what I mean, rather than just booing, just turning it into a more proactive thing. But I thought the City fans were reasonably quiet yesterday compared to normal. We're usually very, very good away. That's one of the weaker displays, I think. They were okay, don't get me wrong, we were fine, but we just weren't as noisy as we can be yesterday. But it was an early morning start. I mean, I was knackered. You were by the time I got there, so that probably has something to do with it. But I think overall the atmosphere, helped by Mr. Atwell, was quite interesting.
Yeah. On the 70th minute, City fans were singing "Is This the Etihad?" with the amount of empty seats as well.
We like to take the mick of ourselves, of course.
Yeah. The Premier League table, then, we're now 10 points clear after the draw between Chelsea and Liverpool. Arsenal in fourth. Do you think Arsenal will get top four, Luca?
No, I don't think we'll get top four. I just think it's just like the reason why I don't think we'll get top four because we haven't beaten a big team this season, and we have this habit of obviously playing well, getting very unlucky. We always need to cut out these little mistakes. It's just about consistency. Depending on what we do in the January transfer window, the third day of January, and Arsenal haven't signed anyone yet. So technically, I know the window is just opened, but still, at the end of the day, this time will tell. But still, like this has to be a week or next week where Arsenal have to start getting players in now, because it's no good leaving it to the last minute, panic stages, leaving players going to the African Cup Nations, going with the players what you've got. Because knowing Arsenal, they'll feel like it's a new signing when it's not. But at the end of the day, I do think we will bring one or two players. I don't know who it will be. I hope it's going to be good signings that are going to help us push up into the top four. We can get it. But we've got to get results against the big teams. We should have got a result yesterday. We were very unlucky. But we need to cut out these situations where Arsenal just don't lose their heads and get on with it. There's a lot of positives to take on this. Very unlucky that we lost the game. We should have got a draw. But other than that, our next Premier League game is not till the 16th. It's a massive game. Another top side. Tottenham away from home. We haven't won there since 2013. So technically, that's a massive game. That becomes a massive game now. And we haven't done the double over Tottenham. I do not know when the last time we did, but it was such a long time. But we've got to go there, stop Conte. Tottenham are looking on good form. And if we can win that, because West Ham have got Norwich on Wednesday, so if they win that, we're outside the top 4.
Yeah. And then on Thursday, you've got Liverpool in the Carabao Cup. How are you feeling for that one?
I'm not confident, man. I'm really not optimistic. But I thought Salah and Mane were out, but now they're not. They're out for the second leg. We just have to play similar to what we played yesterday, but we've got no Gabrielle for that game. The way Liverpool played in the first half, they play like that, they'll destroy us. I think Liverpool always turn up and slap Arsenal. When's the last time we beat Liverpool in all competition was the Premier League with no fans in the 2020-2021 season when we won 2-1 when Mane scored, Lacazette and Reece Nelson scored. But in the cup games, every time when this is a Carabao Cup game, there's always a lot of goals in this. And the last season, we beat them on penalties in the Carabao Cup. So we don't beat Liverpool that often. It's a bit similar to Manchester City's record against Arsenal. And I'm not confident going into this game. I think this is going to be another slap defeat. But it might be a tight game because it's a cup game. I really pray Jurgen Klopp's not going to be there, which will be interesting, though. Firmino's not going to be there. Alisson's not going to be there. Matip's not going to be there because they've all got COVID, I think. Yeah. So hopefully we win this. If we win this game and get through, I think we'll win the cup.
Yeah, and man of the match, who do you give it to?
Martinelli.
Martinelli. And for Man City, Rodri.
Yeah.
I'd just give it Aki, but...
Yeah. We'll go to you then, Bernard. We got Swindon on Friday.
Does Luca have to get off now? He has to get off,
I've got to go in because I'm going on Nip and stream at 9:00.
Yeah. Where can we find you, mate?
Yeah, find me on YouTube. This is Luca's Life. Go and subscribe to my YouTube channel. We're on the road to 1.4K. We're 43 away the last time I checked. And thanks for coming on and turn the notifications on. And thanks for having me on, man. It's been a great show.
Yeah, cheers for coming on, mate. See you soon.
Cheers, Luca.
Bye.
Cheers, mate. Sorry, Charlie, go on. I know
Friday night, Swindon away in the cup. What kind of team do you expect?
Lots of kids, unless there's a change in the first teamers. So they say lots of kids. I probably think 4 kids at most. But obviously, a couple of days rest for the squad, 2 or 3 days rest for the guys who played. I would have thought they won't be reporting till training till at least Tuesday, Wednesday. I would have thought might be ticking over till then. But at least 3 or 4 kids, I think, and that should be enough to beat Swindon. If we can't beat Swindon with 3 or 4 kids, we may as well just forget it anyway.
Yeah. And then a couple more things we have to talk about. Some stats. City will end New Year's Day with an 11-point lead. That's now 10 points. Only United and ourselves have had bigger leads at the end of New Year's Day. Another stat, City haven't won a Premier League match away from home when trailing at half-time since November 2017. That, of course, changed. City have said in the last month or so that they will not be saying whether players have COVID or not on grounds of medical confidentially. And Fernandinho tweeted until the end plus 3 points. Stefan tweeted perfect start to the year. Tuchel said City are relentless and they know just what it takes to produce high point seasons over and over and over again. It's quality all over the club, not only in the squad but also with the management and how the club is run. It is a winning machine. He also said, at this particular moment, the strength of City squad is the key advantage. And Van Dijk said, it's never difficult to believe it's a big gap City have the title to lose. So we'll wrap it up there then. We'll go to you then, Bernard. Where can we find you, mate?
Yeah, just simply, guys, if you follow me, Bernard Deneen at Charles Deneen on Twitter, then you'll find all my YouTube stuff on City past and present. And if you like movies and TV, I do stuff on that as well. So very, very busy. So give us a follow on at Charles Deneen, and you can see everything from there, mate.
Yeah. You can find me at MCFC Hips on Twitter, here Dugout Daily on YouTube. Everybody make sure to like, share and subscribe, and stay safe. Take care. Top of the league. See you in a bit, lads.